right, let's do this. Let me get some coffee first. Ready. If I had to rebuild the Untold Engine from scratch tomorrow, I wouldn't start with a renderer. I would definitely start with instrumentation first. Not because it's exciting, it is not, but because it would have saved me from making the same performance mistakes over and over and over again. Now, don't get me wrong, I would still want to get something rendering on the screen as quickly as possible. But the moment I would see that first triangle, I would immediately start building profiling and diagnostic tools into the engine right away. Because my younger self completely underestimated how valuable those tools really are. See, when you are building a renderer, you're constantly adding new features, shadows, lighting, post-processing effects. Every feature makes the engine more capable, a lot cooler, but also every feature comes with a cost. The problem is that performance rarely falls off a cliff. It slowly drifts away. One feature may add a fraction of a millisecond. Another adds a little more, then another. And before you realize it, that renderer that once felt fast when it was rendering a triangle is now struggling to maintain its frame budget. And that's exactly what happened to me. When I first started building with the Untold Engine, I was focused on just adding features after features. If something worked, I moved on to the next feature. What I wasn't doing was measuring. I wasn't checking how much each new feature was costing the engine. I wasn't tracking whether I was becoming CPU bound or GPU bound. I wasn't collecting the data that would tell me where the bottlenecks were. I simply was guessing. And the scary part is that I didn't even realize that I was doing that, just guessing, and most of the time just ignoring performance. And as the engine grew, performance slowly regressed. Every new feature added a little more work to the frame. Every new system added a little more complexity. And because I wasn't measuring, I couldn't see what was happening. Eventually, I reached a point where I had no choice but to start profiling. And that's when something interesting started to happen. The profiler didn't just help me optimize the engine. It taught me a lot about computer graphics. It taught me how the engine actually worked. I started seeing where the frame time was really going. I learned the difference between CPU bottlenecks and GPU bottlenecks. I learned when draw calls matter. I learned when batching helped. I learned that many of my assumptions about performance were completely wrong. I thought I knew where the expensive parts of the renderer were, and the profiler kept proving me wrong. And that was probably the most valuable lesson. And today I have to say that some of my favorite systems in the engine aren't rendering features at all. They're the diagnostic views, the render target visualizers, basically the tools that explain what the engine is doing instead of simply showing the final image. Because rendering will tell you what happened. You see the final image, but instrumentations will tell you why they happen. And if there's one lesson I'll give to anyone building an engine, a renderer, or really any piece of software is this: don't wait until performance becomes a problem before adding instrumentation. Build the tools early. Add instrumentations, diagnostics, unit test, a render view debugger, etc. The sooner you can measure what's happening inside your system, the sooner you will stop guessing. And engineering gets a whole lot easier when you stop guessing, believe me. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to check out my game engine, go to www.untoldengine.com, and I'll see you next time.